But it's not just that she can't rule out no deal. It is that she shouldn't rule out no deal. Have you ever bought a car or a house, and did you go in there saying, whatever price that car or house is, I am not walking away unless I get that car or that house? You would never do that. So why on earth would you enter any negotiation with the future of our country by ruling out no deal, which is an absurd position?
Let's just clarify one thing, because today Theresa May has written to, because we know they're not talking, has written to Jeremy Corbyn saying that she cannot rule out no deal. It's not up to her. Anand, is that true?
Well, I mean, there's an irony here, isn't there? Because Parliament has voted for a Brexit outcome. It has effectively voted for no deal because MPs voted to give the Prime Minister the authority to trigger Article 50 before they knew what she intended to do. And I think the irony is that, of course, no deal is now the least popular outcome amongst parliamentarians, but it's the one that their voters enabled by not demanding of the Prime Minister before this started, before we give you the authority to trigger Article 50, let us know what you plan to negotiate. We'll have a consensus before we start, OK? If I can just say...
No, but can you also... Can she take no deal off the table?
No deal can't be taken off the table by an extension without the EU agreeing to it, by Parliament without Parliament coming up with a majority for something else.
But she could ask the Parliament.
She
could
Can I
ask
just say
Parliament
one more
to take
thing
it off the table. Let's just be really clear about this, because this is Theresa May's position tonight,
yes.
And I want to be clear. If she decides to extend Article 50, she needs to get the rest of the EU to agree to it.
Yeah.
And if she wants to take withdrawal off the table, she needs to get Parliament to agree to it.
Yeah.
Or to get no deal off the table, to get Parliament to agree to it.
Yes, to get no deal off the table,
so it is possible, but she needs to do it in conjunction with others.
Parliament needs to agree on something else.
But the in the glasses.
By leaving no deal on the table, what that ultimately does, it's sort of scaring the EU to come back to the table. By taking that off the table, like Diane's just said there, we may as well just hand them everything.
Of course.
Right now, there is no way, there is no way they're going to come back to the table. No way.
The man in the red jacket.
Like you said, most of Parliament is now do not favour no deal. Isn't that the problem, that all the voters favour no deal and the parliamentarians don't?
Absolutely.
Let's come back to the original question.
Yeah.
Is there any deal that can achieve a parliamentary majority? Isabel?
Well, the answer... Look, I can save everybody a lot of time here.
Do, because it's been 2 years, so
the short answer is no, there isn't, and that is why it seems to me the only option for Theresa May now, and I'm going to admit that it is a suboptimal position, is to walk away. That is all she can do.
So to leave with no deal?
Yes, absolutely, because there isn't an alternative.
I want to hear from the audience someone who supports that, because that was a massive cheer there. Yeah, you stuck your hand up so quickly, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's quite obvious that the European Union are playing a really good game of poker here. We've played our hand out in public. They've done all their negotiations behind closed doors. They've been shoulder to shoulder, and we haven't. I think if we're prepared to walk away now, Angela Merkel needs to sell 850,000 cars to this country. And she's got 2 million jobs at stake. That phone will be ringing pretty quickly if we walk away.
Anand, a deal that can command a majority. Can you see anything there?
Not now, no, but I think next week you'll see parliamentarians voting on lots of different options, and as those options prove to be unpopular, they'll fall off the table, and I think then the thing will shift. But can I just come back to no deal? I think it's very, very important to be clear about no deal. No deal isn't like buying something. It isn't like going to the shop, and if you don't find anything you like, you walk home again. You don't end up back where you started. No deal with the European Union means all the laws that govern our interaction with the European Union, whether you can fly, whether you can trade, whether you can shop, whether you can travel, cease to exist, right? Now, I don't know what people voted for when they voted Leave. 17 million people voted Leave. They voted for lots of different reasons, and they were told by the Leave campaign that a deal would be easy, so I don't believe all of them voted for no deal. But if you think no deal is fine, that's great, but be aware of what it means. It means severe disruption. And from the EU's point of view, what they know is you're absolutely right. No deal will hurt the Europeans. It will hurt Calais. It will hurt people in Belgium, in Amsterdam. It won't hurt all member states, and one of the reasons the EU has remained united is some member states don't really trade with us, so actually they've got better things to worry about than us, so they haven't really taken part in this. But no deal will hit us far worse than it will hit them. Look at this city, okay, where you have companies like Rolls-Royce, where you have companies like Toyota. The managing director of Toyota in Derby has said, in the event of no deal, I can see us closing down at least temporarily because of the trouble we're going to have getting bits in. They export 90% of the Toyotas they make to continental Europe. It will be more difficult. So, in terms of keeping things going when it comes to trade, when it comes to travel, bear in mind travel will be affected too. At the moment, if we leave with no deal, you'll have to apply for a green pass to be able to drive in continental Europe, because those rules will have gone as well.
Northern Ireland into the south for work, for health, they will need a green card, and they need to apply early.
I don't think that's true in Ireland, because you've got something called a common travel area in Ireland, which means that people
But
can
that
move.
common travel area doesn't cover insurance.
No, but it will affect all sorts of things eventually, like trade, particularly agricultural trade, which is massive in Ireland. So, if you want no deal, that's fine, but be honest about it. It implies a trade-off and it implies massive disruption.